This is a typical drive nut assembly. It consists of a brass block that's threaded for the 1/4 inch 20 TPI drive screw, which is split, and an 832 socket head cap screw, countersunk here, spans the split so that when you need to adjust the backlash, you crank down the screw and it will close that gap, effectively making the diameter of the threaded hole smaller to remove any backlash. And this is the basic strategy for all the drive nuts. The drive nut then will be held to a block on the frame by a couple of 632 screws, 1 inch long, through a steel strap. The steel strap will let you crank down the screws without shifting or rotating the brass block once you've got the drive nut aligned on the screw. The clearance holes in the brass block are just a little bit bigger than the screw, so that there is a little bit of adjustability for getting a perfect alignment. This is a welded up frame that holds the stepper motor to the carriage for the cross slide. These two tabs hold the blocks for the drive nuts, and the saddle for the cross slide mounts between these with all the screws. At this end will be a hand crank for adjustment, and at this end the stepper motor. Now you may notice there aren't any welding beads. The reason for that is I'm using a special kind of weld called the rivet weld. The rivet weld is accomplished by drilling a hole in one part, clamping it to the other part, and then using the welder to fill in the hole, creating a rivet. Now, you might wonder, how strong is a rivet weld? This is what it takes to be able to break that rivet. If the metal is going to bend that far before the weld breaks, it's got plenty of strength. The advantage of using the rivet weld is there's no hard places to grind out crusty beads, and almost no spatter. Now the drive nut will be installed on the cross slide. This is the TAIG's carriage for the cross slide. The threaded hole has been replaced with a 1/4 inch inside diameter brass tube, which will act as a bearing. The old TAIG drive screw has been inserted in the new drive nut, which is basically the same as the other ones, except that this one has an external cap to hold on this nice little chip cover that will keep chips from falling in the slot. To install it and align it, the screw is inserted into the brass tube. Put a little oil on here. The cross slide has already been adjusted. And now the nut is properly aligned. and it will get held on in the same way as the other ones, with a pair of 632 screws and a steel strap. Crank it down nice and tight. And now the cross slide is adjusted with a drive nut perfectly.